Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth final video. Going to have a look at weather for 10 to 14 days for today's final video. Day 10 will take us 27th of December, and we'll be able to take set up beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That gets us well into January. I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just say about the first video today was the 6 AM upload with also these weekend forecasts and the ECM 42-day forecast. Been a busy day at GavsWeatherVids today, so please like, share, subscribe on the vids. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. I've got to say thank you so much to Jason Peace for becoming a channel member in last night's live stream. Thank you so much, Jason, for becoming a channel member. Also, I've got to say thank you so much to James098 for gifting 10 channel memberships last night in the live stream. So we've got 10 extra channel members courtesy of James for 1 month. So congratulations to all of those people who got GavsWeatherVids channel membership courtesy of James098. That's incredible. Well done. You know, well done to all those people. Thank you so much to James098. Thank you so much to Jason Peace as well for becoming a channel member. Amazing, incredible. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of the support. If you'd like to become a channel member for GavsWeatherVids, all you need to do is click the join button, let's see here on the GavsWeatherVids YouTube homepage or underneath any of the videos, and you got to take you to another page where you can sign up and whatnot. Thank you so much, everybody. I will be shouting out the PayPal donators as well next week that I have while I was away. Right, let's start the video then. So we're going to begin having a look at Central England temperature. The CT is continuing to fall, but won't be for much longer. We're now sitting at 0.5 degrees, just half a degree of dropping into the minuses. Can you believe that? That is 4 degrees below 61 to 99 average provisional to yesterday to the 16th of December. This has been an exceptionally cold start to December. It's still cold today, and we're going to find that after today, though, the temperature will gradually start picking up. So next week, we're going to see this increasing. I would imagine by Christmas, which is probably going to be into the 2s. We'll wait and see how quickly this starts to recover. Shryan has sent this through, our good friend Shryan Brilliant. This is showing coldest 1st to 15th December periods since 1772, and, you know, for the central temperature. So basically, the coldest first half to December's, see where we're ranking. So this going back to 1772, there we are down there at number 14, 2022. So, you know, we're up there with, like, the top 20. We're within the top 20 coldest first half to December. The coldest overall is, at number 1, is 1879, which at this point was at minus 1.2. Also, at number 2, we got 1844 at minus 1.2 as well. At number 3, we've got 1796 at minus 0.8. Then at number 4, we've got 1878, started to be exceptionally cold winter, 1878, 1879. Of course, that was at minus 0.7 at this point. 2010 is at number 5 at 0.0. At this point, we're at 0.0. in 2010. Of course, there's more cold weather to come then. It got very cold again into the second half of the month, unlike this year where the cold is beginning to fade out. Number 6 at 0.1 is 1846. Number 7 at 0.2 is 1788. Number 8 at 0.2 1819, and number 9 at 0.3, 1784. And then at number 10, we've got 1890. At number 11, we've got 1981, 0.6 at this point. And then at number 12, we've got 1882, number 13, we've got 1791. And we've beaten number 15 up to this point, which was 1782. So we're up there with a lot of historic years. You notice there aren't that many in the 20th century. Most of these are going back into the 1800s. So it just goes to show how historic this first half of December has been. Really, really historic cold spell. If we narrow it down, just look at the year since 1900, then it looks even more impressive. Look at this, we're at number 2 for this point, you know, first half of December at 0.8, 2022. Just 2010, colder, up to the middle of December at number 1 at 0.0. Number 3, we got 1933 at 1.1. 1. Number 4, we've got 1916 at 1.2, start of the severe cold winter. 1617, of course. Number 5, 1925 at 1.5. Number 6, 1.7. 1950, number 7, 1976, that showed up a lot in our winter forecast analogs, of course, 1.7. Number 8, 1952, 1.8. Number 9, 1991, 1.9. That was a different kind of cold, though, 91. That was more inversion type cold, or what some people class as faux cold, with the gruesome, twosome frost and fog, rather than, rather than the northern blocking that we've had this month. Number 10 is 1987. I completely forgot that, 2.2, but 1987 had a cold first half of December, and then got mild. The rest of the winter was very mild. It's about an omen. We've got number 11, 2008 at 2.2. Number 12, 1902 at 2.3. Number 13, we've got 2.3 again, 2012. Number 14, we've got 2.4, 1937. And number 5, 1943 at 2.4. That was generally quite a mild winter after that cold start. So there are a range of options from those winters. So, of course, 2010 gets much milder after Christmas. 1933, 1934, I think, has cold on and off. 1916, 17, of course, is a severely cold winter. 1925, 26 is generally a mild winter, I think. 50, 51 gets milder after Christmas. 76, 77 has quite a cold January, but eventually gets mild into February. 1952, 1953, a little bit on off. 91, 92 turns generally mild into January and February. 92, 87, 88 becomes exceptionally mild. 2008, 2009 gets colder into February especially. 1902, 1903, don't know much about that one. 2012, 2013, of course, that gets mild around Christmas into the new year, and then gets much colder, culminating in a severely cold March. 1937, 1938, I think, turns milder after Christmas. 1943, 1944, generally mild after that cold start to December. So a lot of differences within those years, and tells us about this winter. Although it's going milder next week, this winter could go either way, and it's not guaranteed, but it will stay mild. The cold might come back into January. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that data. Thank you so much, Ryan. Right, let's have a look at the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Lincolnshire. We're starting off reasonably dry at the moment. What am I talking about? What am I doing? We're starting off reasonably cold at the moment. But look at this, temperatures are picking up over the weekend into next week. It's going to become milder through the middle part of next week. Bit of a drop in the upper air temperatures there. However, over Christmas, into the Christmas week, going a little bit below average before recovering maybe takes place towards New Year. You'll notice the thick green line, which is the GFS operation run, does become a bit of a cold outlier just after Christmas. You'll see that in a moment. Precipitation-wise, as I just said, there is quite a bit of dry weather over today, but it's going to get more unsettled for tomorrow, and then really basically turning unsettled next week with several bouts of rain coming through. And if it gets cold enough in the north, there might be a little wintry weather towards Christmas, but I don't think there'll be much in the way of wintry weather down south. Famous last words. Then we can have a look at the extended ensembles. No, they're still not working, so we can't look at those. So we will move on. Temperature anomalies from the 17th to 25th of December. Going to be milder than average in the south, still a little bit below average though up in the north, and precipitation anomalies from 17th to 25th December, generally above average precipitation. Latest wind from map from earth.nullschool.net, so we've got this big area of low pressure in the Atlantic that is advancing towards us and will be breaking down the cold weather, turning things much milder by the time we get into the beginning of next week. Right, so let's have a look at the latest UK Met Euro run. This is for midnight on Tuesday. Low pressure in control. We're bringing the wind off the Atlantic. Obviously, we have broken down as cold spell and turned much milder. Into middle next week, looking mild, wet, and windy. And then start to bring the jet stream southwards with this area of low pressure coming in from Atlantic. On the northern side of that, colder air is beginning to dig back into Scotland. So by the end of next week, it turns colder into Scotland, otherwise mild, wet and windy through most parts of the country. That's how we look midnight on Christmas Eve next Saturday. Quite an interesting chart. We've got cold air pushing back south into Scotland. This area of low pressure is running through Ireland, England and Wales. Mild to the south of that, there is a boundary that might deliver a little bit of snow on the northern edge of that area of low pressure. You are going to see that low pressure with the UK Met Euro is further south than it is on any other model, however. So this could be a little bit of a synoptic outlier, but it does get the cold air probably to Northern Ireland and the far north of England by midnight on Christmas Eve. That's how the upper air temperatures look. You notice -5 Celsius isoburn there is just to the south of Northern Ireland and into Northern England as well. So further south with below, further south with the cold air, heading towards Christmas. That's as far as we get to the UK Met Euro. Now, this is Icon, so we've got low pressure again in off the Atlantic on Tuesday, wet and windy for the middle part of the week, and then this low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic up to Christmas. Talking about much further west and north with that area of low pressure, though very different to the UK Met Euro run. And most parts of the country actually mild, all parts of the country mild on Christmas Eve. So a big difference there between the UK Met Euro, between UK Met and between Icon in how far south the cold air is getting as we move into Christmas. GFS midnight run looks like that, and again low pressure in off the Atlantic with those west-southwest winds on Tuesday, unsettled with low pressure dominating weather for Wednesday and Thursday. Jet stream begin to ease southwards Friday into Saturday as this low pressure runs in. So not as far south with the low pressure on the GFS midnight run as the UK Met has it, but further, but very different to Icon as well. So that's somewhere in between, really, the GFS midnight run. I hope you're able to follow this. It's very complicated, very complex. It's very similar to last Christmas, this actually. Remarkably similar to last Christmas. I remember we were talking about battlegrounds and, low pressure, where the low pressure was going to be. Would it be to the south? Would it be to the north? To the west? This is kind of similar to last Christmas, actually. How strange that we got two Christmases back to back with a sort of a similar type scenario. So with the GFS midnight run, the cold air gets to Scotland by midnight on Christmas Eve. Otherwise, most other parts of the country looking relatively mild. By Christmas Day, that low pressure clearing out into the North Sea, allowing the cold air to come back southwards again. -10 Celsius iceberg gets into Scotland. This is really cold air getting to Scotland by Christmas Day. -5 Celsius iceberg makes it down into northern England, possibly to the Midlands. By Boxing Day, it's turning tail and pushing away again as lower pressure out to west starts to drag up some milder air from the south once more. Then we go rather stormy from Boxing Day to the 27th of December with that area of low pressure. Then we start to pull cold northerly winds back in again between Christmas and New Year. This is 29th of December. Got wind back into the north once more, and that brings this push of cold air from the north southwards. And actually, that's very cold air. We get -10 Celsius ice from there all the way down to southern parts of England. Bear in mind, that was a little bit of a cold outlier, though, in the GFS ensembles, before New Year eventually gets us back into milder, wetter and windier weather again. Although, is there a hint, maybe, of a bit of a Scandinavian high starting to try and get going there by the 2nd of January? Possibly, but of course that is over 2 weeks away. A wild ride with the GFS midnight run. This is a precipitation forecast based on that GFS midnight run from the weather outlook. Something to weather in the northwest at the moment. Here's tomorrow's wet weather coming in off the Atlantic. Not much snow in that. Some through northern England, Scotland. Probably a few flakes on the leading edge, but we'll rapidly turn back trend. I think the problem tomorrow could well be freezing rain. I know the UK Met have issued an amber warning for some parts of northern England into Scotland tomorrow for freezing rain. Very unusual for us to get freezing rain and ice events in this country, but it does happen. It often happens with the coldest winters, actually. So definitely something to watch out for tomorrow with freezing rain. Anyway, let's have a look. So we go through next week. Rain coming in off the Atlantic, and quite a bit of it as well. Plenty of wet weather coming and going. Now, towards the end of next week, it starts to turn colder across Scotland, so the shower turning increasingly wintry there. That takes us through to Friday, where we've got snow, something quite heavy across Scotland, maybe a little wintriness into Northern Ireland as well. Christmas Eve keeps the snow going across Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the far north of England. Bit of a snow event there across Northern England, actually, through the course of Christmas Eve. How interesting. I mentioned Christmas Day, all about rain, since snow fizzles out, we turn mostly dry and cold, then wet weather's back in again for Boxing Day. Some of that turns to snow from Scotland and Northern England, rain down south. And then, of course, we go into those cold northerly winds, and then we start to get snow showers even down into more southern parts of the country there. It's a long way off. This is GFS 6 then, so again, low pressure dominating the weather through the course of next week. There's the battle lines being drawn for Christmas Eve. So cold air is into Scotland, mild air across England, Wales in between, Northern Ireland, southern Scotland, possibly Northern England. There could be a little bit of snow on the area of low pressure. That's how the upper air temperatures looking for 6 a.m. on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day looking like that. Cold air makes it down into parts of Northern England. Boxing Day, we've got northerly winds across all parts of the country, looking quite cold away from the far southeastern corner. Get my 10 cells iceberg into Scotland. That doesn't last for long. We're back into milder weather between Christmas and New Year. Actually turns very mild on the GFS 6 there, with this long fetch sort of southwesterly type wind. Let's have a look at the upper air temperatures, the ensembles I should say, see how that is ranking. So that becomes a little bit of a mild outlier. Look at that. The operation run becomes a little bit of a mild outlier between Christmas and New Year with that long fetch southwesterly. The GFS operation swinging from run to run seemingly. Precipitation forecast based on that GFS 6 head run looks like that. So plenty of wet weather piling in from off the Atlantic through the course of next week. Eventually the cold air digs into Scotland by Thursday, showers turning wintry there, otherwise plenty of rain for Northern Ireland, England and Wales. By Friday we've got a snow event across Scotland. And then into Christmas Eve, heavy snow through Scotland, possibly just making it into far north, maybe Northern Ireland as well. And then on into Christmas Day, white Christmas there forecast for Scotland, Northern Ireland, some parts of Northern Ireland, possibly the far north of England. Doesn't look as though the north, it could be the place to be this Christmas. By Boxing Day, we're turning colder with all of that rain, so getting out of the way. Wintry showers draped around the coast, otherwise mostly dry. GM, if you enjoyed the video, please can you like, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. GM, looking like this, again, with low pressure off the Atlantic, being spells of wind and rain through the course of next week. Into Christmas, we take that area, low pressure through the country, most places by colder air, just getting into Scotland. Then the low pressure clears eastwards Christmas Day, and we pull cold air back in from the north. Once again, Boxing Day brings milder air back in from off the Atlantic, and we look rather wet and windy by the 27th of December. And then ECM WF once more is mild, wet, windy through most of next week. That's held up by Christmas Eve. Cold air gets into Scotland, otherwise relatively mild with those upper air temperatures. Christmas Day is milder with ECM compared to all of the other model output, so away from the extreme north Scotland, most places look relatively mild and unsettled. And by the time we get through the 27th of December, we're drawing up a very mild southerly, look at this, plus 10 cells ice farm, getting into the far southeastern corner. However, there is a cold front that's probably going to be moving in that direction, and we'll quickly send that mild air away eastwards and pull down cold air from the north again. It's a very complex setup, this, and really difficult to decipher. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tibetio.com. Plenty of bouts of wind and rain coming and going. Some snow by Christmas Eve for Scotland. Otherwise, just rather wet. That takes us up to day 10. These are the odds on the table within the ECM ensembles today for Christmas Day. 28 members of the ECM ensembles looking relatively mild with low pressure through the country and bring up this southerly to southwesterly type winds, and then 23 here with low pressure to our east and drawing down colder air from the north. 23 versus 28, almost a 50-50 split, so you know, just narrowly favouring the milder outcome, but not all that much in it. In 2 weeks' time means there'll be options that we've got. This gets us to the 27th day down, I should say. These are the options that we've got. Gets us to 27th of December, 28 members of the ECM ensemble still about low pressure elongating through the country, still drawing up relatively mild air from the south, and then 23 with high pressure out to our west, drawing colder air down from the north probably. And in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we have. Gets us to New Year's Day, 24 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our east, north and northwest, low pressure to our southwest, so that could be drawing up a relatively mild southwesterly, probably 13 with high pressure just to our west, bringing the wind westerly direction, 10 with high pressure right over the top of the country, and then 4 with low pressure over the country, and that's going to be keeping the cold weather going. This option is frost and fog, of course. This option keeps cold and wintry conditions, and then these two probably turn things milder for the new year. CFS finally, these are 500 millibar high to orange breakdown to week periods. The first week periods actually 17th, 23rd of December. The coming week turns milder and more unsettled with low pressure breaking through from off the Atlantic. Week 2 is going to be the 24th to the 30th of December, still with low pressure in off the Atlantic, drawing winds up from the southwest. That looks relatively mild between Christmas and New Year. Week 3 is going to be the 31st of December to 6th of January. Low pressure over the country, still bringing wind from off the Atlantic. That looks relatively unsettled and mild. And then week 4 is mild. It's the 7th to 13th of January. High pressure to our west and winds coming in from off the Atlantic. We should wait to see about that. Right, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, subscribe. And if you're so enjoyed for doing that, drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so that's it for today's videos. Off, get the Christmas tree up and put decorations out. Tomorrow we're going to have a 6 a.m. upload. We'll probably have a day 14 there. Just watch your space for tomorrow's vids. But for today's videos, that's all for now. And thank you so much for watching.